Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. Welcome to Brawl News, where we talk about all of the news happening in Brawl Stars. Now this includes everything that we know is coming in the next update, as well as a little bit of speculation regarding when the next update might be. For starters guys, Brawl Stars is being released in China this week, and this is a big deal for a few reasons, and it does actually impact you. Now this is a big deal because until recently, China has banned the release of new mobile games for the past couple of years, and it's obviously an incredibly huge market, so it's good for Brawl Stars. And it impacts you because in celebration of the launch, Supercell is going to be gifting everybody a Red Dragon Jessie skin for free, which is obviously really awesome. The only way to get a better deal is if you use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. K-A-I-R-O-S, code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. Provides even more value than a free skin. Now, Red Dragon Jessie does not have any special projectiles or anything like that, but it does look really sweet, and the only way you're gonna be able to get it is to claim it during her release. I'm fairly certain that this means that she will be a one-time skin like Star Shelly and Rico's Ricochet skin. Honestly, I think she looks really awesome. One thing to note that is important about this is that Brawl Stars is going to have a different build for China than everywhere else. They will be on their own exclusive Chinese servers, and they'll actually have a different build than the regular Brawl Stars will. This means that Chinese players will not be able to play with people outside of China and vice versa. Now, additionally, Supercell is likely going to be releasing content slightly different for China versus the regular build, meaning that there is a chance that China will get certain skins that the rest of the world will not, but also at the same time, the rest of the world will also get content that the Chinese players won't get. Supercell is going to do their absolute best to try and keep things the same as much as they possibly can, but Supercell obviously has to uphold certain requirements in order for them to release the game in China, so there's not really much that can be done around it. Now, as far as how that's going to impact the competitive scene, I'm not sure if they're going to be competing like the global finals or anything like that. That's another thing that's a little bit more complicated. Now, Red Dragon Jessie is not the only skin being released into the game. The villain and hero campaign for Supercell Make was completed, and Supercell selected 2 skins to be put into the game in a future update. And surprise, surprise, both of the skins were in the top 4 that I selected as most likely to be put into the game. First up is Zombie, which absolutely fits the haunted theme with Brawl Stars with, you know, Frank, Mortis, and Ems. This is such an awesome skin, but I do actually wonder if Supercell is going to change the skin color to match like the current Undead Brawlers a little bit better, or if they're going to leave it kind of greenish. Either way, I'm excited to see this one in the game. Now, additionally, Arch Villain B, which I am really stoked to have in the game. I love that it's black and white, and it makes it incredibly unique. I know you guys are gonna say something about White Crow. Let me just tell you guys, White Crow is wearing a red jacket, right? It's not black and white. The style is super cool, and although it doesn't really fit any of the Brawl Stars themes right now, I think that Supercell is going to add a new environment into the game in the next update that will be a perfect fit for both of these skins. I think we are going to have a hero and villain themed update this July, guys. As the game is right now, we do not have a place for Max to call home, right? The superhero Max, the energy drink guzzler, and the fact that Supercell Make held a campaign specifically for heroes and villains adds to the likelihood that something like this is going to happen. Zombie would be included, technically could also go with like the Mortis theme, but Arch Villain B would definitely be included with this. And I think that Demonic Bo could also be included since he was already announced as a winner from the Bonanza campaign from Supercell Make already. Don't forget about him. I know we haven't really seen him in a while, but he will be added into the game. I also would not be surprised to see some more hero skins, maybe even like a Super Primo skin like this concept artwork created by FreeFGP, who you should absolutely follow on Instagram. Also, I would not be surprised if Supercell added another superhero brawler to start the completion of the Max trio. Right now it's just Max, she's kind of running things solo, but eventually we're gonna have a couple other superheroes, and I really think it's just a matter of time before that happens, but now would actually be a really good time for them to do that. And of course, if Supercell really wants to go crazy, they might even add a super villain brawler as well, which would be kind of cool. Now, this is all speculation on my part, but it certainly does make a lot of sense if you ask me. Now, as for when the next update is going to happen, we don't know the exact date, but we do know that it's going to be happening in July. In the last Brawl Talk, Ryan said that he was going to see us in July, right? We also know that the current Brawl Pass season is ending on July 6th. We also know that Brawl Stars needs to have another update in order for them to put in a second Brawl Pass season into the game. And I think we can count on them planning on doing that before the first season is over. So I think there's a really good chance that we will have some type of an update before July 6th. That does not mean that Brawl Stars is going to have a big update before July 6th. They could technically just do an update to add Season 2 into the game, and then wait before they add things like new brawlers and stuff in the update after that. Obviously, we're just gonna have to wait and see what they do. But there is a chance that we'll get an update even before that. Not a huge one, but we will possibly get an update. We were promised in the last update that pins would eventually be added into actual matches so that we could use them as emotes in battle. Recently, Frank let us know that mid-match pins will either come with an optional update after the Chinese launch or with the next major update. As a quick side note, we also don't know when we'll be getting balance changes either. Now, this is going to depend on how busy the China launch is going to keep the developer team, which is very understandable because China is such a big deal. It is literally the largest market in the world. But we do also have some more news regarding pins. First of all, the pins will be used mid-match exactly as you see them now without any types of like animations or anything like that. But there is a good chance that we'll be seeing rarer animated pins that will be added into the game in a later date. Now, additionally, everyone on both teams are going to be able to see the pins and not just your team. So if you use it, everybody's seeing it, right? I'm not sure what's going to happen if you're like hiding in a bush and you use it. Like maybe it's going to reveal your location. Only time is going to tell that. Now, the pin packs are currently the only way for us to unlock pins, but Frank did mention that they are considering adding a way for us to be able to buy them individually in the future. So that'd be kind of cool. Now, one thing that's important to know is that we do not know if there's going to be a way for us to mute pins permanently or even just in the middle of the match. My hope is that they will be able to do that and that they've learned from, the mistakes that happened with Clash Royale and everybody just wanting that feature so badly. We'll find out though. In other news, Hot Zone has been removed from the game and there is a good chance that it will not be coming back. Now, we knew from the start that Hot Zone was only a temporary game mode and that we would only have it for 3 weeks. But the hope was that people would play a lot, which would signal to Supercell that they should keep it in the game and make it a permanent mode that you can play, I don't know, every few days or so. Well, Ryan posted this meme in response to it being removed from the game, and it looks like Death keeps on trying to tell Hot Zone that it just was not a good game mode. Now, this does not spell certain doom for the mode, but I am worried that Supercell will not be bringing it back. Ryan did say that the team is taking quests into consideration because a lot of people just didn't have enough time to play Hot Zone because they were focusing on the quests and they didn't even have time to finish all the quests. I know a lot of you guys probably are just wishing that you had more quests, but still, a lot of people aren't even playing all of their quests all the way through yet. Supercell's figuring things out whether or not it's actually worth it to make it a permanent mode or bring it back as it was. I want to know in the comment section below if you guys liked Hot Zone enough that you would want it to come in rotation as frequently as Bounty or as frequently as Heist or whatever. This next piece of news is really exciting. Self-scoring in Brawl Ball will result in players getting a warning and then possibly also getting banned from the game. I really love that they said that the reason for this is that Supercell does not tolerate unsportsmanlike conduct. And I think that that is a really good policy. Now, for clarification, this is going to be an automatic thing that will happen, okay? Nobody's going to be watching games and deciding if somebody self-scores and, there's no report feature or anything like that. The game will keep track of people who score on themselves, and people with an abnormal amount of self-scored goals will be flagged. Obviously, it's not abnormal to self-score every now and then, because sometimes the enemy team passes you the ball and you just have to be right in there, and so it scores on your own team. And also sometimes you just accidentally score on yourself, and then there's those idiots that try and do trick shots and freak your team out at the last second and shoot towards their own goal. That should not be allowed, right? That's unsportsmanlike conduct if you ask me. Either way though, if you happen to self-score on accident, you don't need to worry about being banned or anything like that, unless obviously you make a habit out of it. Now, if only Supercell would do something about teaming. Actually, now if only they wanted to do something about teaming. Which, as a side note, I actually think that teaming is much better than it used to be, so you don't see it nearly as much as you used to in Solo Showdown. Now, I wanted to do a little bit of speculation regarding the next update, and after that, I'm going to show some sneak peeks of some of the skins that have not been released into the game yet. I have been thinking a lot about what Brawl Stars might do for the next update, okay? At the start of 2020, I said that Brawl Stars was going to struggle if they didn't try to address 3 major concerns for their game. I've talked about this a lot, but just for you guys that maybe have not heard of that, the first is a major lack of skill cap in the game, leading to bored longtime players. Supercell have responded to this by adding gadgets into the game, which made the game more complex and more exciting, right? Now, the second issue was monetization, and there not being enough ways for Brawl Stars to compete with Supercell's other large titles. Supercell responded to this by adding the Brawl Pass and pins into the game, which increased the number of light and medium spenders, as well as the maximum spending cap for those heavy spenders, specifically referring to pins, right? Now, the third issue was a lack of social features to help people build relationships within the game and also keep them coming back to the game for those social reasons, right? I'm talking about Club Wars or, Clash of Clans, Clan Wars, you guys get the idea. Supercell has not responded to this issue yet, but we do know that it is on their radar. When asked about clubs, Frank responded by saying, "We'd like to take a closer look at clubs in the second half of this year." Now, technically we're in the second half of the year, and technically he did post it 3 days before the second half of the year, but I think it's pretty clear that we're not gonna get any improvements to social features in-game until after summer, and probably even later on than that. So, what's coming in this next update? If you ask me, it has been a bit too long since we've had a new game mode introduced into the game. Yes, we did just get a taste of the revamped version of Hot Zone, but I'm talking about something totally different, right? When was the last time we got a new game mode in the game? It's been a very long time, many months. I've already speculated on how fun it would be to have a 5v5 game mode in the game. I'm really hoping that that happens sometime. I'm not gonna go into details, but I do think that would be a lot of fun. What I think is most likely going to happen would be the addition of a 4th special event that would take place on the weekends. Much less pressure on Supercell for creating something that's like equally fair, because it's not for actual trophies, it's just for, you know, completing the quest and getting some rewards and things like that. With the rework of Robo Rumble, I think it's about time that Supercell introduces another mode, since the current ones are about as polished as they can be. There are some weird things they gotta do with Sprout to make it so that you can't beat Insane 16 as Sprout, but you get the idea. I've already speculated on a dungeon crawler style that would take place in Mortis's Mortuary, so I'm not gonna cover it here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happening in the next update. Okay guys, now I wanted to do a sneak peek of the skins coming into Brawl Stars. I've already shown you guys the Red Dragon Jessie skin. She's awesome, and everybody should be getting her for free. Talk about value, right? Next is Construction Jackie, who's going to cost 30 gems. Now this skin does not come with any animation changes or anything like that, and has very minimal changes other than the recolor to white and green. Now with that said though, I actually really do like this skin as a recolor for only costing 30 gems, right? If it cost more than that, I wouldn't like it, but for 30 gems, this is really awesome. When you're playing Jackie, most of the time you just only see her hat, and it's going to be very different because you're going from that yellowish oranges kind of color to a straight up white, and it looks very clean in game. Now next we have Evil Gene, who's going to cost 150 gems. This is such a cool skin. I love the animation where his lamp floats above him, and his losing animation is so awesome. I just love how it like shows how angry he is, which is kind of fun because it's like the opposite of regular Gene, who's just kind of like, ah. But he looks really awesome in game, where his hands are constantly glowing with a blue flame, and they also trail a blue flame behind him when he's walking. Looks super cool, and his attacks also look really cool, and he also trails some sand behind him to fit Terra's Bazaar's theme. Now for his super, he shoots out a sand hand, which just looks awesome, and I know that this skin is expensive, but I definitely think it's worth the cost. I think that this skin is probably worth around like 250 gems. I know we don't get 250 gem skins, but you guys get the idea. This is a value skin, and I really like it. I would love to see some pins made for this skin because it has so much personality. Now lastly is Holiday Pam, who I still can't show you guys yet, but if you guys do decide to use any gems to purchase any of these skins, make sure you guys use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop to support this channel. And that is everything for this episode of Brawl News. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and subscribe for more. You know, we're almost at 500,000 subscribers. It might already be that time. If at the time that I'm releasing this video, I guess we'll see. For now guys, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars. In Brawl Stars.